Well, good afternoon. Today is June 4th, 2018. You're part of the Rowan County Commission meeting today. We're glad that you're here. It's good to see folks joining us here. It was an empty room a little while ago, so it's good to have you. So it's a tradition of this board and boards all across the country. We start with a couple of things. First of all, we're going to have what's called a solemnizing prayer. And that prayer is for the commissioners. As we feel the pressure of doing what's in the best interest of everybody, we ask for wisdom as we do that. It's for the commissioners, and after following that prayer, we will have a pledge. So commissioners, if you'll join me, we'll get started.
Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today again, and we thank you for this privilege again, and we thank you for the discussion that the county commissioners have made about the budget, and now we come to the regular monthly business meeting now. Lord, we pray you'll give them the wisdom they need for this and the budget later on this afternoon. We thank you for their dedication and love for this county. And Father, we come to you and thank you for those who are involved in this county of Rowan, Lord. We thank you for those who provide the service to us, for the firemen and law enforcement, first responders, dear Lord. Thank you for all the part that they play and take care of it, help us, Lord. And we know that we need more folks who's dedicated to do that to help us. And I pray you guide us and lead us now. Thank you again for this privilege we have today. And all those who gather here today, we pray blessings upon them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain Taylor, for spending your day with us. Got one more. All right, commissioners, we have, I've got some changes to make on here as far as additions and deletions. On the consent agenda, we're going to pull item D. And we're going to make, and we're going to make that item 5A on the regular agenda. So we'll pull item D on the consent. And then just because of the way, frankly, the software works with them setting up these agendas, item 9, the public hearing, we're really going to skip over that, so we're going to go to the board appointments, and then we'll have closed session. And then following closed session, we're not going to adjourn. We're basically going to take a recess, a break, until 6. So we won't adjourn our meeting, and at 6 o'clock is when we will have the public hearing for the 18-19 budget. Following that 6 o'clock budget hearing, and I would expect a vote, then we'll adjourn following that. So that's kind of how the flow will go. Everyone kind of get where we're going with that? All right, so are there any other changes that Commissioner would like to make to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, did we not talk about in budget pulling item I?
No.
That was not in your budget request?
It was discussed, but we had a brief conversation. There's no need, I don't think, to pull it because we're just going to be waiting on their recommendation.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. All right, if there are no others, then do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes from May 21 have been provided for us. Any corrections or adjustments need to be made to that? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, in a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have the remaining consent agenda. So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
So moved.
Yes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have anyone sign up for public comment?
Nope.
Really? Does anyone like to speak? Got anything to say? Okay. All right, we'll move on. And then item number 3, we have a presentation by Holly Wallace for the NCACC Youth Voice Summit. Holly, where are you? Well, come on up. So we're honored to have you here tonight. NCACC stands for North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. And so Holly was a representative to the Youth Voice Summit there, and she is coming to tell us how that went. And welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Actually, Commissioner Adds, can I make a correction to that? She's making a presentation so she can.
Oh, can go. Oh, okay.
She is our 4-H delegate for Rowan County.
So we're gonna vote on this presentation.
Oh, dear.
Well, good luck, and thank you for representing Rowan County.
Thank you. So, as stated, I'm Holly Wallace, Rowan County's delegate for the NCACC Youth Voice Summit. And today I would like to talk about what 4-H has meant to me. As someone who is dyslexic, I have always struggled with my confidence and understanding the world around me. But that has never been the case with 4-H. In the 11 years that I have been participating, 4-H has taught me about public speaking through giving presentations at my local clubs about the topics we were learning about, competing in public speaking at the county, district, and state levels, and giving county reports at winter enrichment and teen retreat. In 4-H, I have realized my capability and passion for leadership through being elected the positions of president, vice president, reporter, and treasurer in my clubs over the years. Representing Rowan County at district and state events, and being awarded a scholarship to a Kiwanis Key Leader training camp. All of this have given me the confidence and skills to start my own business 2 years ago and to pursue a career in hotel and restaurant management. I look forward to speaking with all of you again at the Youth Summit this year. Thank you. Would it be possible to get a picture with the county commissioners?
Absolutely. Well, let's give her a hand.
That would help you or hurt you.
Commissioner Green said he wasn't sure if this would help you or hurt you. Get a picture of that.
You can go here.
Be happy to. Well, Holly, we want to say that you don't have anything to be nervous about. You did a great job. Keep up the good work and report back to us and let us know how it goes. Okay? Thank you. Good work.
Oh, my God.
All right, item number 4, a quasi-judicial hearing for CUP 04-18. Those of you who will be testifying, you have anyone here?
No.
Okay, if y'all like to come forward, then while I'm reading the chairman's speech, y'all can be sworn in by our clerk. The hearing for consideration of CUP 0418 is now in session and will focus on an application submitted by Steve and Vicki Sutherland to construct a residential storage facility on tax parcel 606047 located on Lot 6 of Bay Ridge Estates. If you feel that any member of the board may have a conflict of interest in hearing the case, please address the board now prior to any testimony or information being presented. When the board enters into deliberations to decide the case, no further testimony may be presented. The board will render one of the following three decisions. One, will approve the permit as requested or with additional conditions. Will continue the request or deny the request. All parties who plan to testify in this case may come forward and be sworn in. Those who testify must state their name and address at the podium for the benefit of the board's clerk. All material presented must be given to the clerk and will become part of the record. This board can only accept sworn testimony, and no hearsay evidence is admissible. And welcome Aaron, who will present the case for the county.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, so we got conditional use permit 0418 today.
Do you have anything to give us?
Yeah, we were going to hand that out towards the end of the
All right,
presentation.
gotcha. All right.
Anyways, we have conditional use permit 0418, the request for a residential storage facility on tax parcel 606047, also known as Lot 6 of Bay Ridge Estates. So Bay Ridge Estates is a RS-zoned subdivision off of Long Ferry Road, close to the intersection of Providence Church Road. And taking a closer look, it's mostly larger wooded lots. The one in question today is about 2.5 acres. And the applicants, Steve and Vicki Sutherland, are looking to do a 1,200 square foot storage building prior to construction of their home. Now, before coming to us, the applicants met with the Homeowners Association, and they had their covenants amended so that this would be allowed under their covenants. So now, as part of a conditional use process, this needs to come before the board because they are looking to build the structure prior to a house, and that's what's known as a residential storage facility. So just taking a look around the area, as you can see, it's pretty wooded around there with some nicer homes. Here we have the submitted site plan. The house will go up closer to the road here, and then the actual storage building will go towards the back. So this was an example of about the type of materials they want to use for the proposed storage building, which is fairly common throughout the county for such structures. And then, as with a residential storage facility, it has these specific requirements to be permitted. The parcel needs to be in fee simple ownership, and this parcel is in fee simple ownership of Steve and Vicki Sutherland. The structure shall be of compatible material with the surrounding area, and this is a common material found in the county. The maximum size allowed is 3,000 square feet, and this proposed building is only 1,200 square feet. No outdoor storage is allowed, and there's none proposed. The minimum lot size shall be the same as a single-family dwelling, and this exceeds the minimum lot size at 2.5 acres. Storage of vehicles shall not be in the front yard, and there is none proposed. Outside lighting shall be designed to prevent direct glare on adjoining residents. There is no outside lighting proposed. And then the setbacks shall be at a minimum, the same as a single-family dwelling, and they exceed the minimum required setbacks as they are now. So with any conditional use, you have the 6 conditional use criteria. Adequate transportation exists to the site. The use will not significantly detract from the character of the surrounding area. Hazardous safety conditions will not result. The use will not generate significant noise, odor, glare, or dust. Excessive traffic or parking problems will not result. And the use will not create significant visual impacts on adjoining properties. So we'll need 3 separate motions to adopt findings of facts. I gave Carolyn the example findings prior to the meeting here. Has she passed those on to you?
Nope. Maybe that's where she is. Oh, okay, there we go.
Jay's hiding them.
Yeah,
She
Jay,
left the room.
yeah.
So they
Stopped at J there, so. All right, now we got them.
All right. And so we'll need a motion to approve denied table conditional use permit 0418 to allow or disallow the 1,200 square foot residential storage facility proposed for tax parcel 606047. And then both me and the applicants are here today to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. I just have a what-if question. What if they hit the lottery and decide to build somewhere else after they've built this, what happens from a technical standpoint?
Well, as far as the county rules are, with the residential storage facility, we are permitting this for use on its own. So this would be allowed without a house in the county zoning. As for what the neighborhood requires, I do believe they have a requirement to build a house at a later time, but that would be in the covenants and not with the county zoning.
All right, any other questions for Aaron? All right, Aaron, thank you. Would the applicants like to say anything? All right.
We're moving from Virginia. My
Well-
son already lives here, and we need a place to store our furniture and everything when we sell, instead of putting everything in storage. So
Gotcha.
we're gonna build a garage anyway once we got it.
All right, well, welcome from Virginia. We're glad you picked us, and we all like chocolate chip cookies, so that'll help, yeah. All right, well, good. If there's nothing further from them, then we'll open the floor to a public hearing for anyone that would like to come forward and speak, either for or against this petition. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and discuss. We have before us 3 separate findings of fact. We'll vote on each of these separately. So do we have someone who would like to offer up fact number 1?
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer up a motion that the development of the properties in accordance with the proposed conditions, it will not materially endanger the public health or safety. Fact that this request complies with all 8 specific requirements identified in Section 21-6010 for residential storage facilities. Fact, this proposed structure is subject to compliance with applicable building code standards.
Commissioner, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Pierce, would you continue?
Yes, motion that the development of the properties in accordance with the proposed conditions will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, or that the development is a public necessity.
Second.
And, fact, no material evidence was presented suggesting this request would injure property values.
No.
Second.
All right. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 3.
And I make the motion that the location and the character of this development in accordance with the proposed conditions will be in general harmony with the area into which it is located, in general conformity to the adopted county plans. Fact, the proposed building square footage is less than the allowable 10% of the total lot size for an accessory structure on residential developed lots.
No. Second. All right. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then do we have a motion to approve CUP 04-18?
So moved.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome to Rowan County. We're glad to have you here. All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, item number 5, discussion on task order for McGill Associates regarding location of the new recycling center. I think this was Commissioner Pierce.
Yes, this is just mainly so that we understand what we're doing as we move forward with locating the new recycle center. As we all know, we took funds from the enterprise fund to purchase the, at that time, current double wide and building there at the corner where you turn in to go to Animal Services. Since that time, we have discussed constructing a road on down and possibly locating the recycle center on another lot, which is down further closer to the 911 center. I just want to make sure everybody understands that if we decide to do that, we will have to replace the money that we took out of the enterprise fund, out of fund balance to reimburse it for the property that we bought, since it will no longer be tied to the recycle center, which was the reason it was purchased. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with that before we get back the study from McGill and we choose to do something different. We're going to have to reimburse that $160,000. So as long as we keep that, you know, in our sights as we're moving forward, just wanted to make sure we all understood that.
Okay. Any questions on that? No? All right. Commissioner Pierce, thank you very much. All right, item 5A, we had pulled this from consent. That was item D. And we received the recommendation from Rowan County Parks, Grounds, and Buildings. And on, I don't know if you've got it in front of you, but they're wanting to change regulation number 27 on smoking to a new revised regulation. Currently, the regulation reads, no person shall smoke in any structure or place in any park where smoking is prohibited. Smoking may be forbidden by the department or its authorized agent in any park, any part of any park when it's deemed the fire hazard makes such action advisable. And so the new revised regulation was being revised to no smoking, e-cigarettes, and vaping devices, and use of other tobacco products in county parks, recreation buildings, and on county recreation grounds. This is something that's been discussed for years. Finally, the Parks and Recreation brought it to their board to discuss, but the reason we wanted to pull it is in the write-up prior to that, we just wanted to look at the wording there. We weren't really satisfied with the wording, and I'm not certain that Parks and Recreation meant anything by this other than just getting it on paper, but you've got it in front of you, and so we wanted to really make where it begins on May 22nd, 2018, the Parks Board voted. We wanted to make that part of Regulation 27, and so the way Regulation 27 would read would be no smoking e-cigarettes and vaping devices and use of other tobacco products in county parks, rec buildings, and on county recreation grounds, period. New signage will be installed at entrances to parks in various locations. All ashtrays and old signage will be removed. Anyone observed in violation of Regulation 27 will be approached by park staff and asked to refrain from using banned products. Failure to comply may result in being asked to leave the park. So it doesn't involve law enforcement, doesn't involve writing citations or any of that. We don't want to get into that. These folks, the Parks and Rec folks, just wanted to have smoke-free parks. And so we didn't want to go to all of that other. So again, we would add to the end of Regulation 27 after the period, new signage will be installed at entrances to parks in various locations. All ashtrays and old signage will be removed. Anyone observed in violation of Regulation 27 will be approached by park staff and asked to refrain from using banned products. Failure to comply may result in being asked to leave the park. Okay?
Sounds good.
I think that's a very good.
The parks, Don can correct me if I'm wrong, but the parks have already had no smoking signs up in most every park, Don, I think.
Yes, sir.
And so the parks and Recs had never been against having non-smoking park area. And we have had signs up. It's the enforcement of these things that is difficult. We have a lot of help in the summertime that are youth, and we do not want to get them involved in trying to write citations or to be involved in the enforcement process other than possibly saying this is a smoke-free park. So while it may look in the text like it is a major change, it really is not a big change from the way it has always been at our parks. We have always encouraged folks to not smoke in the parks.
Okay. All right, so that's the item. Do we have a motion to approve item 5A?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any other discussion?
That's with the changes, correct?
Yeah, with the changes. Carolyn, you've got where we are on that? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Move
Mr.
on.
Chairman?
Yes.
Just a comment, Healthy Royanne thanks you and the commission for passing this today.
Well, thank you very much. All right, item number 6, July meeting. Our agenda item says the board typically votes in the past to cancel its second monthly meeting during the month of July. Currently, the board is scheduled to meet on July 2nd and Monday, July 16th. So it says we typically cancel the second meeting. Do we have a motion to cancel the second meeting?
So moved.
July 2nd, so the 4th then is Wednesday. Okay. So we have a motion to cancel July 16th. Is there a second for that?
Second.
All right, any other discussion on that?
The only thing I'll ask is, and I'm trying to remember, I know that I'm going to be here, but is anyone else leaving town where they want to have it for the second
July.
Monday instead of the first Monday? Or the third Monday instead of the first Monday?
Nobody would leave town and not go to the Faith 4th of July parade.
Well, if Monday's the 2nd, then the 4th is on Wednesday, and that's kind of an odd. If it was a Friday, possibly.
Okay.
But it's middle of the week. I mean, for me, I'll be here. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, item 7, budget amendments, been provided by the Finance Department. Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
And a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, board appointments. We've got a gaggle of these. So Central Iowa Workforce Development Board. Mike Beaver applied for reappointment. He is eligible, and so do we have a motion to accept Mike Beaver for Central Iowa Workforce Development Board?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same for Milford Goldsmith. He's applied for reappointment. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Cheryl Peavy has applied to fill a vacancy on the Dangerous Dog Appeals Board. Do we have a motion to approve Cheryl Peavy?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Al Wilson has applied for a vacancy on the Historic Landmarks Commission. Do we have a motion to accept Al?
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Home and Community Care Block Grant Advisory Committee. Christina Sides Joyce has applied to fill a vacancy on that board, and that'll begin June 4th. All in favor, say aye. Or
Aye.
let's do it. Motion a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Industrial Facilities and Pollution Control. Mr. Poston has applied to fill a vacancy in the Industrial Facilities and Pollution Control Authority. Do we have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
JCPC, it's one vacancy from a member of the public. It's for a 2-year term, and we have 2 folks that have applied. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint Jason Scott Hinson
Do we
to
have a
the
motion? Do we have a
vacancy.
second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Macon Stewart has applied for reappointment to the council. Do we have a motion and a second to
So
appoint
moved.
Macon? All right, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, with Mr. Bringle, did his application check out? All right, he served a total of 3 terms that makes him ineligible. Do we have a motion to waive the eligibility rule for Mr. Bringle?
So moved.
And a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we have a motion to appoint him to the JCPC? Motion and a
Moved.
second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let's see, same thing for Lisa Russell. Do we have a motion to waive the term limits for her?
So moved.
And all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then appoint her beginning July 1st. Motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Tressie McLean Hickey has resigned from her role as Director of Mental Health on the JCPC. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sherry Evans has resigned, member of JCPC. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Dr. Lynn Marsh has applied for reappointment to the Rowan Cabarrus Community College Board of Trustees.
So
I
moved.
think we all received a letter from Dr. Moody applauding the application. Do we have a motion and a second?
Alding, you mean?
What did I say?
Dr. Moody?
Moody.
Yeah, sorry.
She knows Dr. Moody, too. She would have done that if she thought about it.
Even Dr. Moody was impressed, so.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in Dr. Spalding. Motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have lots and lots of board openings. We hope that the general public will give us a call, go on to Rowan County's website, look and see what's available, and make application. I think we're closed session now, aren't we?
Yep.
All right, I move the board now enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A1 to consider approval of the minutes of the closed session held on August 21st, 2017, August 28th, January 16, 2018, February 19th, March 5th, and March 19th, and 143-318-11A6 for a personnel matter. It's currently about 3:35, and we'll reconvene at 3:40. All right, so as soon as we clear the room. And then you're all invited back at 6 for public comment on the budget. All right, we're back at a closed session. We've been discussing Register of Deeds pay relative to Register of Deeds all across our region, and some information from the county manager.
Yeah, just a cursory review of the following of similar counties such as Cabarrus, Davidson, Iredell, Randolph, Robeson, Rowan, Davie, and Lincoln. If you look at the on average pay based on data from 2016, it was approximately $72,000. $72,755 was the average pay, and the range is based on those counties was as high as $83,695 and as low as $65,085, which would, based on the information I'm looking at now, would be Rowan County.
All right, so we've been in closed session discussing this. We discussed raising the pay for Rowan County Register of Deeds to $72,000. We have a motion to do that.
So moved.
And do we have a second? All right, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We will not adjourn, but we will recess until 6 o'clock, and we'll have our public hearing for budget. So we stand in recess. All right, welcome back. We'll let you know kind of where we are in the day. We began at 1 o'clock with a budget workshop that went for about 2 hours. 3 o'clock we had a regular county commission meeting, and we did not adjourn. We simply recessed, had a little lunch/dinner, and now back for our budget hearing and to allow the public some input. So we're going to open up a session now for public hearing, public input. We'll do that. And we've got a couple of people signed up, and if some folks have arrived and not had a chance to sign up, let me know. Raise your hand, and we'll certainly get you on here. But first on the list is Cindy Fink. So come on forward, and you have 3 minutes. Yep.
This is my first time.
Yep, please, yes, uh-huh.
Shorties, vertically challenged. Thank you. Thank you for your time and for what you all do to go through an arduous budget process. We are facing tremendous growth in Rowan County in our senior population, and I'm the executive director of Meals on Wheels. In 2019, Rowan County will have more folks over 60 than children. We are feeling the effects of this increase at Meals on Wheels. Our referrals for home-delivered meals have increased by 300% in the last 9 months, and we have 49 individuals on our waiting list. In 2016-2017, the Home Care Community Block Grant budget was over $900,000. But the county that year spent $29 million in Medicaid for care in skilled nursing facilities. That's just to give you a point of reference, and that the dollars up front that help folks stay well and hopefully in their homes or the place of their own choosing are minimal in compared to what it takes when they must go into a skilled nursing facility. Home-delivered meals is often the one service that allows an individual to remain independent and living in their home. Without home-delivered meals, many must move to assisted living or to skilled nursing. Our hope is that our participants will regain their strength, no longer be homebound, and give up their spot eventually to someone else who needs Meals on Wheels. We can serve a participant for 1 year for less than the cost of an overnight stay in the hospital. You have a recommendation before you from the Home Care Community Block Grant Committee that Meals on Wheels or home-delivered meals be given 2.96% of the total home care or block grant budget. Through the nutrition funds, the block grant gives out $342,000, and of that part, home-delivered meals is set to receive $26,807. Of the participants in both congregate meals and home-delivered meals, Meals on Wheels serves 58% of the meals served. And last year, we received our first gift from the Home Care Block Grant Committee at the same percentage, 2.96%. We sincerely appreciated that allocation, and we feel that we've proven ourselves and have been excellent stewards of the funds. Our unit cost last year was $7.49, and for the upcoming year, our unit cost will be $6.71. That number is not quite reflected in the budget you were given because the formula on the state forms adds back in, again, the administrative costs. And when you remove those out, as we did last year, our unit cost is $6.71. I know that we're anticipating a few more funds coming in, and we have hopes that the county commissioners and the Home Care Community Block Grant Committee will take a look at those funds and try to provide more for home-delivered meals. We know that senior services across this county can't all be provided by one agency. And we hope that you'll look to the other agencies that do provide services for our seniors and potentially help those agencies to also assist our seniors. So number one, I'd ask that you look at that Home Care Community Block Grant recommendation and consider a more equitable distribution of funds. Secondly, that you consider a county budget allocation for home-delivered meals, as we know there are other agencies that also receive additional funding or additional allocations aside from block grant funds. And third, that you follow up with the Home Care Community Block Grant Committee reviewing the rules of organization there, look to see that there are funded agencies who have a seat at the table, conflicts of interest are eliminated, and that future processes and actions are transparent. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fink. Next on the list, Bruce Miller. Welcome.
I believe I'd be better off one-on-one with each one of you, but I don't think that's the way it works. But I'm Bruce Miller, chairman of the Rowan Soil and Water Conservation District, and along with me is my district conservationist, Chris Sloop, who's been with us now 8 years, and he was a county employee about 7 years before that. So he's working on his 30, I guess. But anyhow, we hope to keep him for a long time. But we're one of 96 districts in North Carolina, and we first of all, I want to thank you for your efforts to make Rowan County a great place to live, work, and play. And I think the proposed budget that you have before you is a good one. And I believe about the only thing it needs is one little tweak. And that's to make a full-time position for our position. And I think you've all been exposed to it, so I won't go any further, but it'd be for education and staff support. And Chris does it all right now, and we have 12 counties in our, what we call our area. And we're not the biggest population, we're not the smallest, we're not the biggest land, we're not the smallest land, but we're better than average on all of those, and we have the least staff support. Matter of fact, out of 12, we have 1. Everybody else has 2 to 3. And to give you an idea, Davison 3, Iredell 3, Cabarrus 3, and even counties half our size in population or less, Stanley and Davie have 2. And so we're just asking tonight to seriously consider making this a full-time staff position for our board so we can further the work that we do, which is putting conservation on the ground in Rowan County. And not only that, but also educating our citizens, in the young and old, by the way, in the wise use of our conservation of our natural resources. The 2 most important ones for us are soil, our topsoil, precious topsoil, and then clean water. And, you know, we've been in business for a long time, back in the late 30s, the Dust Bowl. But North Carolina didn't get serious about soil and water conservation until the early 80s, when they implemented, legislature did, the Ag Cost Share program, and they started funding it. And through that cost share program, we partner with local landowners to put conservation on the ground. It's a contract signed, usually about 10 years, and they put part of the money and we put part of the money in. But beyond that, there's another component that, because of staff, and he has, by law, by general statute, he has to spend his time mostly with that. So we don't get the chance to use what we have available to us to educate the public beyond the cost share. So we'd like this specialist, educational specialist, to work with our schools and other citizens, to put on workshops, to participate in things that the other counties are doing, and they look at us and says, what's wrong with y'all? Well, okay, I'm here tonight to ask you for your support of the position that we have before you. Thank you. And by the way, if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them specifically that had already been answered about that position.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, anyone else? Only had a couple people signed up, so we'll open up the floor if someone else would like to speak. All right, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. And we've been here a while today. So, 1 second here. Okay. All right, so in this afternoon's session, we met from 1 to 3, had quite a few changes that were made by commissioners. Would you like to go through those?
Sure.
For us?
To start the changes, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. The county manager had this page in his PowerPoint presentation, which showed some additions to the budget, some deletions from the budget, and a $20,000 overstatement of DSS revenues. The net effect of those is an increase to appropriated fund balance of $20,298. Then we had one of the first things that was talked about was to allow the veterans to have an appreciation luncheon at Weston Plaza at no cost to them, to increase employee appreciation to $40,000, which is an increase of $6,200. We have the HCCBG grant increase, which is $55,152, which will also be offset by that amount in revenue. An appropriation to Saving Grace Farm in the amount of $3,500. The addition of the position for soil and water, the support and education staff position, And there was some talk about it being part-time to begin with. I thought we would go ahead and do the full amount of the salary and benefits in case that ramps up. So that's $52,683. Adding maintenance mechanic 2 for the Parks Department, $46,242. Adding $50,000 for the Ruffey Home swimming pool, which will only be spent to match other donations. Adding a part-time animal enforcement officer at a cost of $15,245. And then we have the 2 current positions at DSS, going through the process to basically eliminate those positions, but add 2 that she's requested in the budget process. Because I know that she wants those, and that has been discussed. I know the county manager has been in discussion with her. I also have. And the DSS Director, Donna Faco, that was a direction that she wanted to go in. Now, whether she needs anything else, that I can't say.
Was anything added for those?
I didn't add anything for those. I think there will be an increase in cost, but right now we don't know. I do think that if we left the budget as is, with, the cost of the salaries that I'm sure are slightly less, that we could make up that difference during the year with lapsed salaries. So the net effect of all that is an addition to, it's adding in expenditures $229,320. And because you have that $20,000 where DSS revenue was overstated, the increase to appropriated fund balance then is less that amount. That's it.
What happened to the Meals on Wheels?
We have the, let me go back up. We have the $55,152 for the HCCBG grant increase.
Right.
And it was my understanding at the 3 o'clock meeting that we were going to wait to hear from the advisory board on what they wanted with that, and then this board would make a decision. Is that not correct? I mean, the $40,000 for Meals on Wheels is encapsulated in that $55,000. Is it not?
That's not a guarantee. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
We approve that or not?
Approve.
We approve that distribution. Yeah, that's what was talked about in the 3 o'clock meeting.
Well, what we talked about too is to let that advisory board meet and then make some recommendations on the distribution percentages. And, that's kind of where I thought we left it. But we did want to put the money in the budget so that it would be there to be distributed.
So are we adding an additional $40,000 to the budget?
That was my understanding.
Wasn't mine. I thought there was all this organizational stuff that was going on that everyone was trying to figure out before we provided the additional funding. That's what I.
Yeah, we were looking for ways to streamline the services to get the most bang for the buck, but we were going to leave it up to this advisory board to make their recommendation. That was what I understood. Now,
that was my understanding, and then this board, if they did not agree with their recommendation, can make an appropriate.
right, it's got to come back to us to agree to their recommendation.
That's right.
And at that point in time, if we decide we just want to move forward, we can, whichever direction we decide. But we did say that we wanted the 40,000 in the budget so the monies would be there.
Okay, now I'm confused. Okay. So you just said that you wanted the 40,000 in there.
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't understand that
Part
to
of the
be the,
55,000.
That's part of the 55,000 that's there.
that's already in that
Correct.
budget, but we're not adding an additional 40,000.
No, we're not going to add, we're not going to have $95,000. I'm simply saying the 40,000 will be what the board will then recommend how they think it should be distributed. And that's what I thought we
Okay,
talked
that's
about.
not where I thought we were. Because the board, the board is going to meet, and it'll be after our budget is set.
Correct.
We have to approve the recommendation.
So what you're saying is then that you're okay with the recommendation coming back and setting aside 40,000 for Meals on Wheels?
But we have to have it
Wait and see
in,
what their recommendation
Right.
is. I mean, we can't make a decision on
but
that.
we have to have it in the budget so that if we agree to it, the money's there, is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Having sat in on the meeting previously, it was my understanding that the committee's wishes were that the dollars were going to be divided up between the different
Agencies.
Which does not guarantee, at this point, Meals on Wheels any additional dollars.
I really don't think that's the way the recommendation would come back. And keep in mind, Commissioner Klusman, this board will make the final decision on how that's distributed.
Well, and that's why I'm asking you, the commissioners right now, is if there isn't a sizable amount of money, close to $40,000, that's available for Meals on Wheels, are the other commissioners going to be comfortable with making those changes?
I can't answer for the other commissioners. That's why I want to see what the board has to say. This is what they do. This is their line of professionalism. I know very little about it, so I'd like to hear their comments and their discussions before I made a decision on exactly how much money. But keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, there's $26,000 that's definitely going into it.
Yes, I understand that. Well, we'll just bring back some more information then for the commissioners.
That would be easiest.
All right.
So we're at 229 plus the DSS issue of 20.
Correct. For the increase in expenditures, for the expenditure budget, we're at $229,320. Appropriated fund balance is actually going up $194,168. And if you took what was presented in the budget message and you increase that by 20,000, and then you, is that it? And then you decreased it by the HCCBG grant revenue. That's how the formula's working. That's how much it goes to. So total appropriated fund balance would be at $11,150,795. And that's restricted and unrestricted.
Leslie, what was the unappropriated fund balance for last year?
9.
Last year, it was $9,915,665.
So $10 million.
Yeah.
Almost $10 million.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So we're up $1 million from last year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, other discussion? So the numbers we have are 229,320 would be an increase in appropriated fund balance of $194,000. Any other discussion? Each come before the board. Mike? Judy? Jim?
I'm good.
All right, then we'll entertain a motion to approve the 2018-19 budget as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All right, further discussion. No?
I'm ready.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Anything else for the,
Motion to adjourn.
all right, we have a motion to adjourn, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for coming out.